Matthew chapter 6. This morning, there's something we all desperately need as saints of God, and that is for God to protect us. I don't think we think about that very much in our culture today. I think we feel relatively safe here in Florida, here in America, here in the 21st century, but I need God to protect me, and I'm going to spend the next 39 minutes, Lord willing, hoping to convince you that you desperately need God to protect you. So let's say, I'm going to say the red part, you get to say the yellow part, and then we're going to jump into it. I need God to protect me. You know, all of us have heard that all of our life. Well, what does that mean? Does God usually lead us into temptation? Is that something He's prone to do? Well, believe it or not, literally, yes, because the same word for trial in the New Testament is translated in James, temptation. So it's fascinating, and that's what we're going to study this morning. But before we do that, God says Satan is alive and well on planet Earth. Long before Hal Lindsey wrote that book, it was true. God said, watch out for Satan, the adversary of God. That's what Satan means in Hebrew, adversary. And so Satan, as the prince of the power of the air, Paul calls him, and his silent army of demon invaders swirls through the air. They lurk around us. That's what Paul tells us. See, Paul pulls back the veil. In fact, he tells us about the hierarchy of the demonic forces. But those infernal warriors of the kingdom of darkness are not science fiction aliens. And that's another thing Satan has done. He has caricatured the spiritual world into making it either cartoonish or superheroish. And we don't really think about what they really are. They are super strong, extraterrestrial, intelligent beings. In fact, the word demon in English comes from the Greco-Roman word daimon used in the scriptures, which literally in the first century meant intelligence. It was used for the spirit world, for going, if you wanted to go to hear from the gods, or go to a temple, or go to hear about the future. You had one of these intelligences. In fact, Apollo, the god Apollo, from the Greek pantheon and the Roman pantheon, Apollo had emissaries trained by the oracle at Delphi, and those became known as mediums. Remember when Paul ran into the Philippi young lady in the marketplace who was a spirit, demonic, indwelt medium? And he cast the demon out. Do you remember that whole scene? That's what demons are. They're super strong, extraterrestrial, intelligent beings. In Ephesus, one demonized man beat up 7, and they ran. Do you remember all that with Paul's work in Ephesus? But their aim is clear. Their shocking strategy is so powerful. If people really understood it, it would set them back. These twisted demon hordes are even more deadly than a terrorist attack. All of us are afraid of terrorists, but demons are worse. Demons are locked on course. By the way, walls don't stop them. They are everywhere present. They've been around for thousands of years. They know every language on earth. They are intelligence. That's what they are, a spirit intelligence. They're constantly learning. They're constantly watching. I'm not even talking about Satan, the most powerful being God ever created in the universe. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the demons. Their target is our mind, the control center of every human on the planet. Every day they're battling, and the battle is raging for our minds. Remember C.S. Lewis, from Oxford? Do you remember what he said when he wrote his screw tape letters? Do you remember that the very worst temptation is whatever it is that it takes to get your mind off center on God and get it on something else? It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's something good. Usually it's a good thing that just tips us away from that focus of seeking first the kingdom of God.